Hello and welcome to this video explaining context for media studies at GCSE. Context is basically the circumstances in which something takes place. So if we have a look at this image here of a child, what kind of things might be influencing what they might be drawing? Okay, yes, the child has the choice to draw whatever they like, but that's probably going to be influenced by what things they've seen in that day, what surrounds them. So if they are drawing in modern Britain, let's say in the 2020s, then they might have iPhones or aeroplanes. But that might be different if we found a child's drawing from the Victorian era in Britain, the 1850s. Or if we went to modern India, there might be other cultural things that we would see in that picture that a child from India might draw. So the context, the circumstances in which something takes place, influence the final drawing. And when it comes to media context, it's a very similar process. So when we're talking about media context, we mean the circumstances in which a media text is produced. So we're talking about a producer creating a product, but that producer, let's say Disney or Epic Games making something like Frozen or Fortnite, that producer is going to be affected by context. Okay, the context, the world that they live in, is going to have an impact on that producer and therefore have an impact on the product. There are four ways in which that can have an effect, four different types of context. There's historical context, social context, cultural context, and political context. And you need to know about all four of these for your exams. Okay? What are these four things? Well, historical context is like historical events. Social context is what society thinks at the time. So society's views on things like gender or celebrity. Okay, whatever people think about those things, that's the social context. Cultural context is more like trends, what's cool at the time, technology, and technology is often cool as well. If there's a new phone comes out, then that's part of the cultural context because it's both trendy and technology. And then political context. So if there are particular political views that are influencing the producer, that's going to be the political context. But don't forget, if we zoom out even further, okay, we can see that that product is then consumed by audiences. It goes out and different audiences watch it or listen to it or read it or whatever. So they are going to experience it in different ways. And those audiences, in turn, are going to have their own context. So their interpretation of that product is going to be impacted by the context. It's going to be influenced by the context. So if we look, for example, at this bit of advertising, it says it's for a Kenwood chef. It says the chef does everything but cook. That's what wives are for. Very sexist advert, but was seen as totally appropriate at the time. And if we think about the producer, their historical context, their social context was that this was what society thought of women, that they were there to do the cooking or to look after the house. Whereas our context as viewers of this is very different. So our interpretation is changed because our views might be different from that. Okay, I hope that has helped you to understand context in media studies.